Alright, everybody, welcome back. So apparently after adding a Squadron Flanker, Gaijin decided to add a Squadron F-16 this update as well. And honestly, I had completely forgotten about it when I was making my video this morning. I also haven't really seen many people talking about this, which surprises me because it is actually really fun, on top of you being able to grind it for free even if you don't have the French tech tree. So before we get to the very obvious elephant in the room, I want to start with the flight performance as per usual, because a lot of y'all watching this video probably haven't played an F-16 before. Of course, just like in real life, the F-16s are very solid dogfighters, and especially the earlier F-16s, the F-16As, are very good in the 1v1. Now, the Block 10 is the best of the F-16s, but the Block 15 is your second best, and this has the exact same flight model as the F-16 ADF and OCU and all the other Block 15 F-16s in game. Of course, none of the F-16s are the best in the game anymore, and the ADFs are down somewhere around, I think, 7th or 8th at the moment after all the changes. But it's still a solid flight model, and you should be able to dogfight most of the jets that you see, and even the ones that are better in a dogfight than you, stuff like, the F-2, stuff like the J-10 that you just saw running away from me. You don't see 13.7s very often, since you are a 12.7, and in the case of the premium F2, well, they're premium players. There's a good chance you should be able to get behind them and get the shot before they can actually take advantage of their better flight performance. And a ton of the planes that you see at this battle rating are premium Hornets, and the Hornet you can beat in the 1v1 no problem. On top of being able to also outrun them, and on top of the fact that, again, they're premium players, so they're probably not going to be the best. The big feature for this plane, however, is definitely the kit for its battle rating. This is at 12.7. This is the same BR as the Nets. This is the same BR as the F-16HA, which gets 9Ls and Sparrows. And this gets access to 6 IRCCM missiles at 12.7. This can face the MiG-23ML. And you actually get your choice of what type of IRCCM missiles you want to use as well. If you've played any of the other high-tier F-16s, you should already be familiar with the AIM-9M. Of course, they can carry up to 6 of them, but 2 of the pylons, it can only carry the AIM-9M on. These are very solid IRCCM missiles that fit pretty well in the meta. They use what's called suspension IRCCM, where when a target flares, the missile blinks and turns itself back on again once the flare passes out of it. This works really well, from side aspect, because the flares pass out of the field of view very quickly. And so if you're, say, climbing and diving on people like I was doing right there, as long as the target isn't randomly pre-flaring, you should be able to get very easy kills on people. And as long as they don't fire a missile, because they love to switch to missiles nowadays for some reason. These are already extremely capable IRCCM missiles for the battle rating. I mean, this is the same kit that the 13.0 F-16 in the tech tree has. The only difference is that the tech tree one can carry flare pods, I guess. But in addition to those AIM-9Ms, this actually gets something incredibly unique for an F-16. The ability to carry up to 4 Magic 2s. Now, I'm sure the Magic 2 doesn't need an introduction, but just in case you haven't actually had to fight it yet, the Magic 2 is an incredibly potent IRCCM missile that is very agile and very good in the dogfight, while having excellent acceleration and some nice gate width IRCCM as well. In case you don't know what gate width is, essentially what gate width does is whenever it locks onto a target, it clamps down the seeker head field of view. Basically, it tries to make it so that it doesn't see the flare whenever they drop it. This works best at close range, because at longer range it's still plenty big enough for it to see the flares, and it is not perfect. It is possible to flare them even at very close range if you know the proper technique. However, most people don't, and the Magic 2 accelerates crazy fast. So most of the time, if you launch this thing within about 1.5 kilometers or so, the target is not going to have enough time to see and react. And personally, I do find it more reliable than the AIM-9M at the moment, just because the AIM-9M has a tendency to spaz out. The Magic 2, from my experience at least, is just more reliable. But yeah, so essentially you want to use the Magic 2 from closer range. I would say for sure within 2 kilometers, closer if possible. Because the faster it gets to the target, the less time they have to see it, and the less of a chance they have to flare. And unlike the AIM-9M, if they flare at, say, 2 kilometers, there's a very good chance it will just instantly get one flared. It may happen to the 9M2, but it's less likely at those ranges. And you are going to be needing to get to close range, because as you can see in the background, you are going to be dealing with a lot of planes that have radar missiles, while you yourself only have IR missiles. This is the one real downside of this jet. To be clear, I don't think it's that big of a downside. It's still very capable of dealing with them. There are some exceptions, like anything with Sparrows, like this F-18 I could have pushed right now if I wanted to. You can just go head on with the Sparrow and roll it like you can see me doing in the backgrounds. But for the most part, if somebody fires like an AMRAAM at you or an R-27ER, you have to go defensive and just wait until they get close enough for you to actually be able to shoot them. And this has led to a few games where I get very little or no kills because I'm sitting there defensive and every person that attacks me dies right before I'm able to actually go ahead and shoot them. In 13-7 lobbies, you're going to have a bunch of people on your team that have active radar homing missiles, and so you might be sitting there dogfighting somebody and all of a sudden they just blow up, or you blow up from an active radar homing missile being thrown your direction. Now, I did get a lot of 12-0, 13-0 like you're seeing in the background. That was by far my most common matchmaker. And in this lobby, you are still incredibly competitive. I mean, look at this. I turn for him once, I fire a Magic 2, he just instantly blows up. But it is just something to keep in mind, especially if you start getting a lot of 13.7 games. If you play properly, you can very much survive in those lobbies. It's just that you may not get a lot of kills. Speaking of surviving, that's another very funny choice Gaijin has made here with the OCU. So recently they've been going on a spree of changing a bunch of the F-16's countermeasure loads. Starting with the Japanese OCU, which was the first one with 45 countermeasures. They've also gone ahead and made the ADFs have that now, and they changed the MLU to have the proper 30 large, 30 normal countermeasures, right? Well, for some reason, I'm not 100% sure why, they decided to leave this OCU with the old 16 normal single pot countermeasures. And sure, you don't get the large caliber flares, just one flare literally any, non-AIM-9M shot at you, but still, having more pops is always better if you ask me, so this is a really good choice. Just a bit confusing after how they handled all the other F-16s. Now, for those of y'all who are about to ask if you should go ahead and Golden Eagle this thing, I don't think giving that kind of money for especially a non-premium, but even a premium, is a good idea. If you really desperately want to play it, though, I fully expect this thing to go up in battle rating soon. This is... I have a very hard time believing this will stay at 12.7. I will say, I do not think this is a bad choice at all. It's extremely fun if you do want to spend that kind of money. The only reason I wouldn't is if you are a cast player, because you probably noticed I haven't shown any cast footage despite normally doing so. This thing's cast load is anemic. Gets 2 AS-30L Nords. That is it. And for some reason, Gaijin decided that was worthy of 12.0 in ground RB. Make it make sense. But for air RB at least, this thing is incredibly fun. And I had way more clips than I had time to put in this video. If you made it this far, thanks for sticking around. I hope you had a great day and a good patch day. It was way less buggy than it was last update. Also, I did note at the beginning, but if you want to, go ahead and hit that hype button. It helps the channel a lot. Hope you have a great day, and catch y'all next time. So, peace, y'all.